to the Indie Wrestling Guy with your hosts, the Hall of Fame referee, Jay Hawk, the not-so-mysterious benefactor, Jay Gold, and the legendary Charlie Butters.
Right, so my wife and I are all alone now. My daughter is gone as of Saturday. She got on the bus to go to camp. First thing we did was go right back to sleep. Slept for 4 hours on Saturday until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then we went out and got hammered. So that was good.
How about the second thing you did was get fucked up and go, she's gone, yeah.
Right. Well, when I was younger, I didn't believe my mom used to say, like, the kids would get on the bus and the parents would like cry for like 2 seconds. Then this like cheer would come up from like the parking lot. And I didn't believe her. And then I was a counselor and I was on the van, like leaving. We were the last van out. And I watched the parents and they were literally high-fiving each other and like jumping around in the parking lot. So it did happen that way this time around. But I get a little bit tearied up and upset, because she's gone. So once that's gone, then we had time to focus on going out and drinking. And then Sunday, I think we played some more golf and then went out and did some errands and took like a 2-hour walk in like 100-degree heat. So, everything is kind of falling into place. We got 4th of July coming up. I'm going to ETU. We got Creative Pro seems to be doing something. So we have a lot of plans going on for the next.
And now clothes are optional at the Goldstein household.
That's correct. So if you knock at the right time, you may find me. Yeah, you may just happen to find me wandering around in my gym
with
shorts.
His tail out.
Right, sans underpants. That's right. And I did see F1 last night, and that movie was one of the best movies I have seen in a very long time. I highly recommend you guys see it too, in IMAX, by the way.
Brother, we had Days of Thunder back in my day. I don't need the CF1. I'm cool. I don't care about race cars.
It's an updated Days of Thunder, but it's very likable. It's a lot of fun. But we had these two people who were, now what would you do in this situation? We had these two people who were sitting two sections seats down. They didn't shut the fuck up. They were on a date, it looked like. I finally lost it. I go, hey, you two have not shut up the entire time. I'm like, so shut up. Just stop talking. And the girl looked at me like I had 10 heads, and they had no shoes on, and they're putting their feet up. Fucking animals. That's what an animal does. They put their dirty feet up. They have their shoes on the floor. I go to the bathroom a lot, so I have to squeeze through them. She's cursing at me under her breath, and I think her feet are on the floor because the shoes are there, but it's not. One of their feet are tucked into the seat, and the other one's got his feet up on the seat in front of him. I'm like, you people are nasty. Put your feet away. Jesus.
Couple of monsters you're dealing with there, brother.
Yeah, yes. And this theater had something I've never had before. Cheetos mixed with popcorn. So it's Cheetos dust popcorn hot with Cheetos inside. And the whole thing is heated up in like a hot light. It was delicious. So that was the expanse of what I've been doing the last 3 days, which is almost nothing.
Nothing has been pretty much what I've done the last 3 days too. If you're looking for like witty antidote for me, you don't really have anything. I did find out today that apparently in Utah you are allowed to rent a living space to somebody without kitchen access.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I was just like, wait a minute, what do you mean with that? So there's no kitchen. You can own a place, but you can rent a place but not have a kitchen.
Yeah, my best friend sent me the link to the apartment she found and her daughter's looking, and it's a room in a house. The only shared space is the bathroom, so there's no living room access, no kitchen access, and it's like $700. And we both went, well, that can't be legal. And we both looked it up, and sure enough, in the state of Utah, it is absolutely legal. It has to be expressly said in there, no kitchen access. Like, you have to, like, fully disclose it's not there. But yeah, you can absolutely rent a living space and not give somebody access to the kitchen.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I guess you could buy, like, a hot plate or something, right? And keep it in, like, the living room.
They don't have living room access.
So it's just a bed. It's just a room.
I'm guessing it's just the bedroom based on what it read like to me.
You just put it right there on the nightstand next to you. Your little hot plate.
Right. That's what they do on like TikTok when they show those people, or that dude who made nachos in the sink of a
oh my
hotel.
God, that guy's disgusting.
Someone should kill that dude. That dude
always
is
making disgusting shit in the sinks. These fucking places.
I don't know how he gets it done. He's got like batteries and all sorts of stuff, and he's making sandwiches and hot steak and like he made like fried rice in the sink. I'm like, that is vile, bro. Like, Stop that.
Seriously.
He did it in an airplane too. Did you see that one?
It's like the guy that makes the shit that they used to make in prison, like
Yes.
out there. And he's busting.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, brother, no. Like you don't have to eat that anymore. You're out. You're free.
You don't have to cook everything in a Cheetos bag. It'll you could use an oven.
Fuck.
Gross. Yeah. I figured this out too. TikTok has ruined golf as well because we used to play a 9-hole. It took us about an hour and 10 minutes. Now it's taking us over 2 hours, and it's nothing but kids out there who buy overpriced golf clubs who think that they look like they do on TikTok, where these dudes are editing. They're not hitting the ball straight. They're not, and they have these trackers that are hitting the ball straight, and it's one take, right? Like, you guys are not good enough to be on the course playing the way you're playing. And I think it's ruined it for food. It's ruined it for golf. It's just destroying everything that's good. It's unholy, the TikTok and the dumb internet. Unholy. Anyway, we got the 4th of July coming up, which will be fun for all of us, right? Anybody going to blow anything up?
When we do the feud of the year for the award at the end of the year, I'm voting for Jay Goldberg and TikTok. I think that.
Yes. It's disgusting. It's ruining everything. It's ruined my golf. These kids are using $450 putters that I could never afford, and they can't putt with them. Why would you buy something like that if you suck? You shouldn't. You should be playing with used clubs that either your dad gave you or your mom gave you, whoever's out there. You should never be playing with a $450 putter unless you're on the pro tour. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, getting back to the 4th of July, though, I don't know if we're doing anything or not. My wife and daughter are both working the 4th, so I don't know if we're gonna be able. If we do anything, it'll be like firework, like when they get off work or something. That's gonna be it. Like cookout are pretty much out of the question.
I don't do anything, so it'll be
no barbecues to go to.
Probably not. I'm saving all that for down in Dallas.
Nice.
Zach sent me some photos of the pool. He got like this lizard float. Looks real sweet. Then I realized I need to buy swim trunks. I don't have any swim trunks because I don't ever go swimming. So I got these really cool like teal swim trunks that have black sharks on them. They look really cool.
Look at you buying a first pair of swim trunks. All right. Do you need floaties or no?
No.
I could send you some floaties.
I got some floaties right here, brother. I'm a big man. I'm good.
Oh, no. That's not what I meant. Oh, for your little arms,
But no.
Make sure you bring a what's it called? The sun shirt so you don't burn down there, because that heat is different than anything we all.
I plan on getting a nice tan while I'm down there. So
nice.
But then I ordered my Amazon basket because there's some stuff in there I needed coming up for the end of July that I wanted to make sure I had on hand, and that arrived on Saturday. So I got a 6-pack of confetti cannons. Those will come in use probably at some point 4th of July weekend. I bought cold spray, which is going to be used in the wrestling match, and then I brought thumbtacks. So I did buy some like 1,000 thumbtacks. So
you're really going to push this tacks and skewers thing, aren't you?
No, I bought them. It doesn't mean that they're going to be there. It's it's whatever.
They're just happen to be there.
They could just be for personal use. I don't know.
In a little black bag, like they keep under the ring. And it's velvet, and then they shake it out onto the ring. Who knows? Shit.
What you got in a little black bag? What the fuck do you think? Have you watched wrestling in the last 25 years?
It would be great if somebody does that and it's like paper clips. They're just like, oh my God. He's attaching his files. Oh no.
No, you can't get Lego, you can get good. It's plastic building block.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah, you can't get Lego. You can't get Lego. You'll get good.
We can't advertise it as Legos. You can call Legos all you want during the stream. They're not gonna watch it and sue you.
Like when they say cola, just cola. Can't say Coke or Pepsi. Just cola.
So on my zero sugar journey that I've been doing lately, I found 7-Up has some zero sugar flavors, and this is 7-Up Zero Sugar Tropical. And it tastes like peach mango, and it's also caffeine free, and it's amazing.
I didn't know 7-Up was still a thing.
Oh yeah,
brother. I'm a clear soda guy when I try. I don't like dark sodas. Like I'll do Dr. Pepper every once in a while, but other than that, I don't do like Pepsi or Coke. It's Mountain Dew is colored, but I don't really care for it. that much. Like the zero sugar on it's not great. But
Lemon lime cola.
But
Yes.
7-Up has like the best zero sugar so far that I've found. And the tropical's even better because it's not just lemon lime, it's peach mango. So
That's too much like sugary for me. Like the most I like to add to my sodas is like a cherry Coke, cherry Diet Coke or something like that. Otherwise I stay out of all those like extra flavors in soda. I just don't like it the way it tastes when it's carbonated like that.
shout outs.
Yes.
We got Patty.
Hey, Patty.
Patty.
We got Zach.
Zach,
Hey, Zach.
hello. Yeah.
And we got the bagel monger.
Fuck you, Andrew.
I agree. Fuck that guy.
What do we got?
So what's on this
next?
weekend, guys?
Yes.
Is there anything cool?
What's on this weekend?
If you're thinking what I'm thinking, Friday, July 4th, 2 p.m. Eastern, Game Changer Wrestling present Backyard Wrestling 7 in an undisclosed backyard somewhere in the United States of America. I haven't honestly looked for the lineup, but I did see on Twitter a little bit ago. Pizza Cat versus Pizza Cat Jr. booked for that show.
Yes, that's what I saw as well. That's why I'm excited for that show. J. Cole, do you know who Pizza Cat and Pizza Cat Jr. are? Or are you too young for that?
No, I'm looking it up. I don't know who it is. Who is it?
It's Shotzi and Billy Starks.
Oh, Billy Starks is there letting Billy Starks wrestle. Go figure. Okay. Well, you know what? That's that maybe I'll watch that. I don't know. Maybe I'll pay for that one like the $4 or whatever. I don't know. I really despise the Triller app, so who knows what to do there. Anyway, over on the Independent Wrestling Television Network, I only have one thing, and there's only one thing on the 5th. Saturday the 5th, BST Wrestling presents Star Spangled Bash. And the only match advertised is Dijak versus A-Game, Joseph Alexander. So if you want to watch something then, I guess that's the only thing. Then the next round of shows are not until the 10th and 11th of July. So there's nothing else on Sunday. There's nothing on Saturday except for that one show on IWTV.
Yeah,
But if you are in Pittsburgh on July 5th, you can check out Enjoy's Hot to Go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
And I'm going to run down the lineup for that because it's a pretty great card. For the Enjoy Tag Team titles, TME going against Gummy Boar. Finally, that match is now happening.
Okay.
Mad Dog Conley against Reese Hayes. LJ Cleary versus Andrew Palace. The Better Business Bureau going against The Runway and a mystery partner in a fashionista street fight.
Who's the Better Business Bureau?
Derek Carter and the King of the District.
Oh, that's what they're called. That's right. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. Yeah.
MV Young versus Felix Cause. And making their official main roster Enjoy Wrestling debut, the Den of Desire are going against GME and Argento with some guy named John who's been talking shit about us lately. He did a little review, a little blog, I guess, because he thinks that's somehow not a dead medium. And he's calling podcasting a dead medium, saying that our best episode was at the beginning of the year when he was on, and that we don't mention him, so we're not a good podcast. So there's your mention, John.
You keep my name out of your mouth, John. Just, you know that. You don't want to get into war words with me.
Just what other podcast that's mentioning you, John? I'm not hearing any.
And then the main event, the IW God champion, Mikey Montgomery, going against Sonny Kiss and Billy Dixon, our guests this week, for the Enjoy title. It's a handicap match, and you know it's been going on. This has been going on for about a year now. This feud, and I think this is to cap it off right here. This is for all the marbles.
I think it's time. To Mikey's got to run with that. That's just my opinion. I'm sure our guest, Mr. Dixon, will think differently, but I think it's time for Mikey to get a nice run with that Enjoy title.
You know, it's tough. It's the 2-on-1 disadvantage. You would think that puts Mikey at the disadvantage. But instead of having to keep eyes in the back of his head for Billy Dixon's right in front of him this time. So,
Right.
so that could make all the difference.
It would be nice if he had a little backup.
I mean, who knows? His Mikey's girlfriend is the commissioner of Enjoy, so who knows what she could come out and even the odds or do something. Who knows? Guess we'll find out Saturday.
Doing interviewing.
All right, this week we have one of our biggest interviews ever. We have the Enjoy champion, Billy Dixon, with us.
That's it.
Yes, I
That's
told
it.
him.
Where are the adjectives? Where are the accolades? I've been wrestling for 10 years. I've made a lot of history, more times than I can count, and that's the best you have.
I told him, Billy. I told him to come with a good intro. I told him.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a mountain of Coke on my table that I could be sniffing, but I'm talking to you guys. I don't think this is a laughing matter. I'm doing charity work, and the least you could do is have some manners. I think that's absolutely distasteful. So how about we try that again, guys? Let's throw some accolades in there. Let's remember who you're speaking with. If I'm one of the biggest names you've ever talked to, I think you need to give me an introduction fitting of that. You know, especially because of the contentious relationship between independent wrestlers and you, the media, the purporters of fake news and outrage and clickbait, how you have built careers off of our blood, sweat, and tears, how you get to consume clout over the calluses that are all over our bodies. Yeah, I'm going to need that to be done again. I'll wait.
Bill,
We're in middle school. I'll wait.
with all due respect, I wouldn't call this a career, what we're doing, but we're trying.
You see, I was raised right to have respect.
You're right.
So yeah, I will indulge your hobby. How about we do that? Your hobby, your middle age crisis hobby. How about we do that?
That's
So
fair.
let's start on over. Mr. Dixon is gonna teach class on how we, you know, in the biz call it put someone over. So how about you start all over? I'll wait.
All right.
I'll wait.
I'm sweating, Butters. Pick something better here. Let's go.
Okay. This week we have with us a one-time unchampionship champion, a one-time Fight Club Chocolate City champion,
Longest reigning,
a 10-year vet, known also as The Business. It is Billy Dixon, the Enjoy champion. So better?
You know, I'm going to give you a Bret Hart 4 out of 10, but time is money and my time is being wasted right now. So let's keep going, gentlemen, shall we?
Well, okay, I'm glad we got started off on the right foot then, because I wanted to ask, I wanted to know more. This is your retirement run here, and
Yeah.
you've been doing this a long time, and you've seen a lot. So, and you've been a promoter, and you've been a talent, and you've been, you know, on the mic.
I am the business. That's why I call myself
Yes.
that. I'm glad you understand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I mean, for the listeners and for myself, tell me about, as far as what your opinion is on where you've come from. What did you see in the beginning as far as doing those all different facets of the business as to where you are now? Is there a negative outlook on you know, how you've done in this part, or do you feel like the business is going in the right direction, or where do you think it is at this point?
Well, first of all, I'm the Jesus Christ of professional wrestling. I sacrificed my career to uplift and build other people up. And that doesn't go without saying. People want to quote other people as they've done so much. No, they were self-serving. I sacrificed my career for the betterment of social progress in wrestling. And am I bitter about that? Absolutely. Do I discuss that in therapy? You betcha. But
Me too.
in 10 years, the business is a lot cleaner than it was when I came into it. And that's due to my hard work. And I'm not going to be egotistical and say that I did it all by myself. People helped, but I carried a wagon. I yelled in rooms where other people were scared to even say a word. And I put my name on the line when people weren't doing a damn thing. In the middle of a global pandemic, I carried communities on my back. Even when podcasts such as yourselves didn't appreciate the sacrifices I've made to make wrestling a better place. Just because I don't got 3 letters next to my name doesn't mean that my fingerprints aren't all over this industry, because they are. But let me tell you something. When I stepped into this business, my first day was quite traumatic. I won't get into the who, what, where, when, and why, but I was told very quickly that a person like me would not succeed and not make it out of Virginia, southeastern Virginia, where I started 10 years ago. I trained in a car garage. There was no AC, there was no fan. You were lucky if you got heat stroke. That's how bad the conditions were. The wrestling ring was warped beyond condition, and I had to train and get beat up to earn my place because they thought I was soft, because they think I'm a little zesty. So that means I can't take a punch. But guess what? I'm the last one standing from that wrestling school. I'm the only person in my region in Virginia to make it out and make a little bit of a name for themselves. And then you make a name for yourselves in your own community, and your heroes that you work for conspire against you so that you don't succeed. And then you keep pushing forward, and you keep pushing forward until you can't push no more. And I stopped pushing June 2026 when I leave this business. And, you know, my hero, John Felix Anthony Cena, wants to destroy wrestling. And you know what? I'm here to say that is so brave. And that is admirable, because you know what? Nobody deserves professional wrestling. Not a single damn one of you. And I support that. And I am going to make sure I leave with everything that I have been earned, that I have deserved, that I am owed. That is what this last run is about. So to answer your question, yeah, I did a lot of hard work in the last 10 years to make wrestling better. Do I get thanks? No. You know that little Fightful, little garbage rag run by the cokehead or whatever that dude's name is? You know, they didn't mention me on their 30 Days of Pride, but they mentioned people who came out after it was cool to come out. You know, I was gay in wrestling before that shit was cool. I was gay when they were throwing batteries at us and they were throwing pee at us. And they were chanting slurs every 5 seconds in the crowd. Did I get my graphic? No. Now, why is this your podcast's problem? I don't know. I'll talk about that in therapy. But the point remains that I've worked really hard, and I'm glad to see the fruits of my labor. But I'm coming home June 2026. You won't have an Enjoy Wrestling title. You won't have an Enjoy company. There's going to be so much legal trouble for the trouble I'm about to cause, especially in July. But we'll get to that.
I'm very impressed by the passion and the one can only say your inflated sense here. Maybe it's not so inflated. Maybe it's what it is. But you did mention that you've been, as you said, you've been gay in wrestling for 10 years. So
I've been gay in life for 30 years, sir.
And it works for me. So tell me about, so you booked, and if I recall, you were part of booking Big Gay Brunch. You've been a part of, we watched you on a show in some bar with like clouds on the walls in Brooklyn. I can't remember the name of the bar that you guys were at during COVID time. Jayhawk and I were watching. Talk to me about like the trouble or even the logistics of booking something like Big Gay Brunch. How do you feel? How does the talent feel about doing things like that, getting in front of that audience? You did say they used to throw batteries and slurs. When that first came out, when Big Gay Brunch was first a thing, how did you feel about it? How did the people around you feel about it and say, okay, this is something we're going to do? How are we going to be received when we get out there? What was kind of the thoughts? And I'm sure in your mind you knew you were going to kill it, but what was there any trepidation about putting together something like that?
Well, to correct you, because I don't believe in stolen valor, I do not book Effie's Big Gay Brunch. The guy, the first word in that book's that. Yeah. I've just been lucky to perform on that and been having a good time there. What I created that has my name on it is in March of 2020, the last major wrestling event before the pandemic on the Independence was a show called Butch versus Gore that took place in Washington, D.C. That's a show I booked. And that was at that time the biggest LGBTQ wrestling show in history in the business, and did very well. So that was cool. And then after that, what I created and I booked was a show called Paris is Bumping, which is a show that pays tribute to the ballroom culture that was really transformative in the 1980s and 90s. And a tribute to the documentary with a similar namesake. And then I booked a Pro Wrestling Vibe in the DC and New Jersey area. Booking a show and asking people to almost kill themselves in the name of art is not a fun thing to do. But unless you're passionate about what you're doing, you're passionate about moving things forward, would you even risk your life for that? And of course, you know, the protocols were protocoling. I wasn't being willy-nilly. I made people wear masks and was yelling and reminding people that they needed to, and getting the test and making sure that I, shredded all of the tests and the receipts in case I got sued, But at that point in time, wrestling went into survival mode. And when wrestling goes into survival, and it does it every so often, wrestling is kind of going into survival mode right now, even with all these record profits. And what happens is that the marginalized people, they start getting less and less and less. So when you look at the pandemic and the availability of work that there was, an entire community of people were not even in the conversation. And I couldn't sit at home and watch. The last thing we did was the biggest accomplishment this community accomplished at that time. And then we go back to nothing. So I put myself in a lot of debt. I pulled in a lot of favors. I put my pride on the line. And the community also crowdfunded and helped those shows happen. So logistically, it was a community effort, one I'm eternally grateful for. And I don't forget, even though I'm on my way out and I am taking everything with me. But that was a beautiful thing that happened. And that was, in my opinion, the most different professional wrestling project that's ever existed. Because when they're watching it at the Performance Center and then they're watching it in Jacksonville and you see one of the EVP's wives doing something with scorecards, you know that you've made an impact. When you see guys who had model gimmicks all of a sudden having scorecards and voguing in matches, you know that you've made a difference. The real way you learn that something you did was over, something you did worked, is when somebody who is kind of creatively stifled steals it. So that's the beautiful thing of what we did. Does it suck that a lot of the people on those shows will not receive those $1 million contracts and all that? Absolutely. I think it's absolutely atrocious. I think the business needs more performers from our community because we make a lot more with a lot less. And I think the ingenuity has been lost in wrestling. But creating that during that time was incredibly difficult, but rewarding, because at that time, it was some of the most watched programming. I mean, we broke IWTV records time and time again, which made other promoters not happy. They were beyond frustrated that was happening. And it was a nice peak. And being a part of other shows like Effie's Big Gay Brunch and doing Pride-themed deathmatch shows were incredible. And it showed that the limit does not exist for what queer performers can do. We're just performers. We just express ourselves and kind of understand the showmanship part of the business a lot more intricately than our counterparts.
Do you think, and you mentioned the deathmatch side of things, do you think you're going to, in your last year, do you think you're going to be doing different styles such as deathmatches? Are you looking to kind of finish off your resume before you leave with different styles, or do you want to stick into your lane, you're the champ now, and enjoy? What do you want to do as far as the next 12 months goes?
I mean, I'm open to whatever comes my way. I'm not necessarily campaigning for anything. I have said publicly that I'm down to do it. I do know that there may be some things in the works to finish off some stories and to continue some stories, start some stories in that world. It's just a matter of logistics. I love Deathfest Wrestling. I'm very passionate about it. I've loved all the death matches I've done in my career. I wear the scars with pride. And I knew that I don't believe that I'm the only person who's in my community who does deathmatch. That's just ridiculous. We got to pay respect all the way to Angel the Hardcore Homo way back in the day at XPW, who was flying off of 40-foot scaffoldings into explosions in the ring. He's really the real pioneer for our community. Mariah Moreno doing death matches all those years ago. There's a lot of innovators in that space. For me, I think that I do have some more left in me, and there's some people I would really like to get in there with. And I think what deathmatch is beautiful. Outside of that, for the last run, I'm really looking forward to getting my thank yous from the people in my community. They thank Effie a lot. They don't thank me, and I was paying them just as much, if not more, than he did. but I'm looking to get my thank you. So if that means that means I got to beat the thank you out of them, and they say thank you, sir, for the opportunity and paving the way and making it a little bit easier and taking things that I don't have to take, I will certainly get that in the form of a CVS size receipt in a wrestling ring. You betcha.
I like that. Okay, you got. I'm digging it. What about companies? Is there any place left that you feel you want to take down before you leave? As far as you're working on, you're in Enjoy now. So where else do you want to go and kind of leave your mark?
There, I mean, whoever pays me, is where I want to be. This is a business. It's about making money.
Yep.
You know, you see a lot of people. I mean, I'm at that point in my career where I don't give a shit. You see a lot of people with their full schedules. Let's see how much they make versus how much I make with my limited schedule. You know, it's a joking matter, but it's not. You know, I'm in my Legends contract era. So if I'm going to do something, it's going to matter. And it's going to make the company that I work for, you know, I'm not that selfish. I'm not that self-absorbed. Of course, there's a benefit to me being on there. You know, if you're looking for someone to do the star ratings things, that's not me, because those people don't make as much as the people who are just stars. Stars don't have to, you know, shoot for the stars from some old man who has an undiagnosed disorder that he really needs to get control of. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to make business and do good business at that. You know, if you put Billy Dixon on a card, the crowd is not quiet. I've never had a dead crowd during my match. Sure, I'm not doing Swan Lake because I'm not a ballet person. That's not what I do. And ballet does hurt. I hate that saying. Wrestling is like ballet. It is equally as painful and equally as much showmanship. But that's not what I'm there for. I'm there to fight people. I'm there to bleed. I'm there to make people feel something, and I do that every single time. Where would I like to work if I had a magic wand? I like where I work now. I like Enjoy, and I like destroying Enjoy, and I like the fact that the main event scene has had my face in it for over a year. And I know everyone's so frustrated they don't get to see Lee Moriarty do locks and all that fun stuff in the main event, and they don't see, you know, Envy Young do the same tired Japanese tribute match in the main event, and Edith Surreal try her best to put people in knots and fall over herself in the main event.
Oh my!
I know they hate. I know they hate it. I know you hate it. I know you think I suck. You on this podcast have said that you hated seeing me in an Enjoy title match. Well, guess what? I've been in even more. How does that feel? And you're still going to be there in July. Because you know what?
We love
because I'm the best.
We've turned the corner on you.
We've turned, Billy. We did.
Best.
We did.
I am the best at what I do. And what I do is not what you've been trained to think is good. What I do is the best. I am good at being a sports entertainer, because that is what we do. We are not professional wrestlers. We are sports entertainers. That's what this is all about. And there's nobody who gets more high off of being a sports entertainer than me. Maybe John Cena. I do respect him. He is the GOAT. But
right.
I'm pretty much up there. I'm pretty high up there. I'd say so myself. Okay. Enjoy. I like working. I love working at Ashe. It's an incredible company based in Charlotte, North Carolina. I love to work some more in Pittsburgh. I don't know, like Rise and all those other companies out there. Not the evil one that we just found out that was. I don't even know the name of it. But there's a whole bunch of drama. I don't got time. I don't got time to deal with that kind of stuff. You know, I like to be the biggest prick in the room, not the promoter. The promoter should be, you know, kind of a bore who just pays me and adds a extra couple dollars for every show I do. Yeah. But you know, that I will be making my way back to T2T up in New York City. I just finished having a good conversation with that. There's a lot of those young gay kids who really need to learn how to wrestle and how to do this the right way. They fucking suck. And I'm going to teach them how to get this done so they don't ruin their careers. You know, Effie gets to be good cop and I'm bad cop. Everybody loves Effie. Effie doesn't beat the shit out of those kids. He's so nice to them and he's so encouraging and he gives them pep talks. You know what I do? I tell them that they fucking suck and to try again. They like to DM me their matches. How did I do, Mr. Bill? You fucking suck. Try again. Hit them harder. Why are you being nice? Why are you letting some straight person take your fucking money? Couldn't be me. Oh. That's that. And then, you know, there's GCW. We have a long history. There'll be some GCW stuff down the pike. And Fight Club Pro Wrestling in DC. I've been back for a little bit. And then there's some other stuff. And then who knows if I don't do something soon or run something one last time. That definitely seems like something that people really are asking for and want. and I probably will acquiesce. What can I say?
So before I hand you off to Jayhawk, quick for me, your 10-year career best as far as your either least favorite or most favorite opponent. Who did you enjoy working with the most or beating up the most? Who did you have as far as your most memorable feuds and such? Give me two names or of any of those people.
You can't say my name without saying Darius Carter. I don't enjoy wrestling him because I think he's a piece of shit. I think that he's like the worst. Like he just never got laid. It just screams. It screams erectile dysfunction. Like the people think that that's like the best I've done, and like sure, go for it, guys. I know me and Effie every time we hook it up. It's wild, and it's really you don't know what's going to happen because neither of us knows what's going to happen because we just go for it. I would say that there is a young woman who debuted at Enjoy not too long that I've actually really enjoyed wrestling. Her name's Avery Jacks. She was the girl who did the moonsault off of Gabriel Kai's shoulders at Taco Mania. She's really talented. I really enjoy wrestling her. I think she has a bright future. And Envy Young has pushed me in the ring, and I'd be remiss not to say him. Ashton Starr out of Atlanta, Georgia, incredible performer, incredibly underrated, and really deserves like bushes of flowers for his contributions. A lot of people have gotten to where they've gotten because they've wrestled him and gotten better. And if you watch tapes from 10 years ago, 12 years ago, you see some of your favorites that are on TV now go from crawling to baby steps to walking in their matches with him. So I really think the world of him. And least favorite opponent, God, that's got to be a match that I just like have never watched again. Well, my least favorite opponent probably would be the Enjoy Wrestling fans. I think that they are like just the worst, softest group of people I've ever seen. They're hypocrites. They're the biggest group of hypocrites I think I've ever seen. It's interesting that a tout that prides himself on being as progressive has cheered for a white guy getting unlimited chances. That is wild to me. Mikey Montgomery is the definition of privilege. You're fucking the general manager. There's no HR violation for that. That's crazy.
There is. I'm in HR myself.
Crazy.
There is. It's definitely.
So why haven't you submitted something to the board and Enjoy? It's wild to me. I mean, David Lawless has been working hard to try to file some sort of injunction, and we've had a really hard time with it. And then also I beat him. You were there. I beat him. I pile drived him into the mat. He was dead as a door, and he gets the title match because we feel bad for our little white savior, Mikey Montgomery, the great little white hope. That's crazy. But all these people in their bios with all their little flags and all their little things that they stand for, and they don't stand for the things that they actually pretend to do. Because if they were fair, somebody else should get an Enjoy title match. What about that real thick, muscular Italian guy with the briefcase? The Keystone in the Bank guy, or whatever the hell you want to call that dumb briefcase that he's trying to threaten us with. Where's his title match? Or hell, Duke or Gannon? Why can't they get a title match for the Enjoy title? You're
the champ. You can give it to him.
I don't do charity. That's crazy. Why would I volunteer to lose the title to somebody who's so shredded like TME? Why would I ever do that? We work smarter, not harder around here. But I'm just saying, as an example, if Ziggy Hive has such a problem with me, why doesn't she just get over her mental health issues and get into the ring, and maybe she'll overcome her mental health issues by beating the crap out of somebody instead of complaining online all the time? I don't know. I mean, you got Gummy Boar coming back. Great tag team, by the way. Awesome, Erica Lee and Boar. They haven't gotten a title match. And if I'm forgetting your name, you're really forgettable, and maybe you should step your game up because I've been on every Enjoy show. But I'm just saying, Mikey Montgomery is who people used to say John Cena was. You want to talk about shove down people's throats? My God, we're going to try to make this Mikey Montgomery kid happen, and it's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
You make a good argument.
That was not the answer to your question, but that has been bubbling for a year. Willow Nightingale was at Enjoy, and I was happy to wrestle her, and I enjoyed being this close to beating her. I mean, she had to roll me up. You know, big TV star Willow Nightingale. Everybody loves her. She's so talented, and she could have definitively beat me. Could you imagine? I wonder what Cage Match was saying. They probably thought the match was horrible and they couldn't believe she couldn't put me away. Well, that's because I'm better. She got lucky and she knew it. It's no wonder why Tony stopped texting me. I made a lot of money. I used to give him deliveries of things. But yeah, I mean, I hate the Enjoy Wrestling fans. Everybody else sucks. If I wrestle you and we don't have an amazing match that people go home and cry about and put in their will, oh fucking well. But the Enjoy fans are the biggest ops. Bar none. Gross. Yeah. Gross people.
Jayhawk.
Wow.
Woo.
Okay.
Fire.
Well, I know from my experience that somebody doesn't get as good as you are at the things you do in wrestling without being good in things outside of wrestling. What is your background outside of wrestling that you could channel into your wrestling?
I'm a survivor. I have a lot of ingenuity. My life before I put on my wrestling overalls was not particularly easy. And I had to learn how to adapt and overcome. But if we want to talk about what makes someone a great sports entertainer, you know, I've been a performer of some sort since I was 2 years old. Funny story, my namesake Billy Dixon, my grandfather, who I'm named after, a kid messed up the lines in a school play when I was 3 years old. And my grandfather cut a promo on the kid because the kid tried to blame me for the line flub. But you know why he called him out? Because I did the lines with my grandfather. So that kind of work ethic and proving people wrong has been instilled in me since that young. Does that make sense now? Does the abrasiveness make sense to you now? I carry a legacy of people who don't take shit. Now, I did theater my entire childhood, did musical theater in high school and in college, did spoken word, oratory speaking. I'm a state finalist in oratory speaking. I am street smart. I'm from the South Bronx in New York City. So it takes a lot to kind of outsmart me. And all of that led me to wrestling, besides watching it my entire life and having an affinity for it. So to be the man, the way I'm the man, happens with a lot of beautiful ingredients to make the gumbo.
I love that analogy.
I'm good at speaking. I said that about 30 seconds ago. You weren't paying attention. It's fine.
I was just making a comment. That's all.
Well, thank you. You're the only one who's complimented me so far. I really appreciate it. You're my favorite. You know, like on Dance Moms, you guys are from Pittsburgh. You know Dance Moms, Abby Lee Miller, The Pyramid. You're on top of my pyramid.
Oh, for God's sake.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Ridiculous.
All right.
What's happening right now?
All right.
The greatest interview you've ever had. You're fucking welcome.
You're in there. All right.
I'm the best. Top of the pyramid. Keep up, kid.
Yeah, Jago, what the fuck you doing?
Kid. I love it. Jared, go ahead. Get it going.
All right. So, getting out of the wrestling bubble a little bit, what are you doing to unwind? What are you doing to, I mean, maybe not necessarily unwind, but maybe to focus on things outside of wrestling? What are you doing? Are you listening to music, watching movies?
You ever heard of marijuana? I mean,
fair.
The devil's lettuce is such a horrible like propaganda term for it. It is Mother Nature's nectar. That's what I like to call it. Outside of wrestling, what do I do to unwind? Ever heard of an app called? Well, I can't say that. I am still technically engaged. Never mind. I almost killed my kayfabe there. Whoops. I enjoy the company of people. There are lovely people who love to be around me, learn from me, enjoy me. No pun intended. And that's great. I enjoy the beach. The beach is a great place to go, to think. I enjoy a good drive. I enjoy a great drive. Some of the best material that I use when I speak about wrestling comes from driving. I enjoy charcoal art, journaling, cleaning is a very good mental health exercise. It's actually scientific proof that like cleaning is really good for the brain. And the more you clean, kind of the better your mental health is. But that is something that people wouldn't consider something good for unwinding. I enjoy trashy reality shows because, you know, life is hard, but if you can see someone whose life's fucking worse, why would you not want to watch that? I enjoy reading books. It's probably why I'm probably one of the more smarter wrestlers in wrestling, because I've actually read a book that wasn't a comic, an anime. Fucking nerds. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy all sides of media. I enjoy music. I enjoy, and I listen to podcasts, and I do listen to your podcasts when you're not, burying me underneath the earth and promoting people who are just inferior. Good God. But I get it. We all have favorites. We all have likes and dislikes. That's fine. It's fine. I'm a big boy, you know. I enjoy listening to people discuss art, discuss sport. I enjoy that people don't have the same opinion. I think that's really enriching. And I think as a performer, it has helped my relationship to my own work, hearing people say 5 different things about something I did for 12 minutes, positive or negative, because ultimately you can't please everybody and it's a waste of your time to try to. So I love a lot of the wrestling content creators. And I think that, it's good that we have that. I think it shows that what we do is more highbrow than people want to give it credit for, Yeah, that's what I do for fun. What is this, my Hinge profile?
I mean, I asked that to just about everybody, but I was definitely interested in hearing it from you with your background and how well you everything comes across. No.
We should go to a club, pal. Since you're my favorite here, we should go to a club. I want to see your moves on the dance floor.
Okay. I have no move on the dance floor, but I'll indulge you. That's fine. We can do it.
Yeah, listen. If you can do a 1 foot to 2 foot shuffle, you'll retain your championship as the best guy on this podcast.
Yeah,
I'm screwed. Okay.
I'm lowering the bar for you, pal, and it's already been low.
Oh my!
I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, go. Aside from Billy Dixon sucks, what is the most trash take you've heard from a wrestling content creator?
About myself or about wrestling?
In general.
I think the most trash takes I think I've ever heard about wrestling are about where people presume something goes wrong and they think they know the who, what, where, when, and why when they don't. And I'm not one of those wrestlers. Like, if a person who has never trained happens to be accurate about something, I think it's foolish to be like, no, you would never know that. But when things happen that may not go according to plan and people get upset about those things, you don't know that there are 1,000 things that go into a decision, something that happens in the heat of battle, something that happens with the way you believe the narrative should go. There are several different reasons. And I think that what's trash is when somebody is in a position where they may have to save something that isn't going according to plan and they have no creative control in said plan, that they get ripped apart for it. I think that's absolutely unfair. But I don't believe as a part-time magician that it is my job to educate people on how the rabbit comes out of the hat. I think that ruins everything. But I think that wrestling fans have been exposed to so much of the magic that I can't be that upset that they feel entitled to speak on it from feeling more inside that they really are. So, and that's due to a lot of people not knowing how to discuss what we do in a way that protects the magic. So yeah, I would say that. I would say like what you like what companies you like. I don't really care about that. That's irrelevant to me. But I think what really sucks is just when wrestling fans really get it wrong, they really get it wrong. And that's not saying if you think if you didn't like something, that's fine. I don't care about that. You're allowed not to like something. Like, for example, there was a big release that came out that I didn't like, or a lot of people didn't like an album or whatever. You're allowed to not like that. Like, people really didn't like the Lil Wayne album. That's fine. But I think stepping the boundary of like how the pasta is made, I don't really like that, because there sometimes you may see something that looks like absolute garbage and you have no idea that there were 35 conversations about that and that idea changed 35 times. And after a certain while, if you were in that position of thinking you were going to get plan A and then you get plan Z, you'd be over it and just try to get through it to get to the next day too. So that's my soapbox on wrestling fans.
Yeah, that's one thing I tell, especially the younger kids when I'm refereeing their matches backstage. They get upset that something didn't go according to plan or according to what they were worked down the back. And I keep telling them, the people out there don't know that's not your plan. They might think they know it's not your plan, but they don't know it's not your plan. It is now because of what happened.
Yeah, I just don't believe in I just don't believe in I love critique. I've been in theater my whole life. You live for a critique. You live for a critique. If you say, hey, I really thought that Billy Dixon didn't employ a lot of technical prowess in his street fight. It's silly, but if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. But when you say Billy Dixon was put in this match because of this, that's where we have an issue. Because you don't know why the fuck I was put in that match, or you don't know why the fuck I was even booked that day, or if I wasn't even booked to begin with, shit like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or the outcome of something, or how long something goes. I've been in matches where somebody was completely concussed out of their mind, and the match ended prematurely, and people hated it. Well, if somebody's hurt. Even an asshole like me, there's no valor in beating somebody else who's concussed. You beat them up. They're not gonna remember what they ate for fucking breakfast. Pin them and go home. So that's it. Outside of that, I really appreciate wrestling content creators because overall, even though our relationship can be contentious, it is necessary. So hats off to them.
I got one more for you here before I hand it off to Butter.
Let's do it.
You've talked about June 2026 It for Wrestling. What's life after wrestling looking like for Billy Dixon?
I think that what's really important to note, and I'm just speaking for me, I got into wrestling pretty much right after like a semester of college and dropping out of college. And my entire adult life has been professional wrestling. And I think for human development, a sense of identity is super important. I'm sure all of us would agree with that. And I think that a lot of wrestlers, and you see this in how their lives deteriorate when they stop wrestling because they can't anymore, or they lose the dream gig, or, whatever, stop getting booked, or, you know what I'm saying. They don't have a sense of self and their lives fall apart. Or they are successful and their lives still fall apart because they don't have that sense of self. And I believe that it is super important to have that in life. And that is what I am in search of, and that is what I'm looking to enjoy. If at one point, I feel like I want to wrestle again, it won't be anytime soon. Like, I'm not going to do what I did before. This is not my first go around. I pulled the Terry Funk, came right on back, which to me, that's the coolest thing you can do is say I retire and be like 6 months later, hey, just kidding, guys. Sorry about all the crying. But on the most serious note possible, I think a lot of younger wrestlers are going to have a rude awakening when they reach my age. And you've been doing this almost a decade, or you've been doing it over a decade. There's some kids started when they were, teenagers, like super early teenagers. You have to build a life outside of wrestling, and wrestling doesn't want you to do that. Wrestling wants it to be the be-all and end-all of your life, and that's incredibly unhealthy. And when you're in therapy and you can't answer these questions that are pretty easy about yourself, you gotta get out of here. For me, as far as the big corporate jobs, that's not something that on a moral level I could really feel super comfortable with at this juncture in my life, and something that I don't believe is super realistic for the kind of performer I am, what I do, what I stand for, and more importantly, just the way I am as a person. So when you take a look at life, you take a look at your trajectory, you could wrestle forever. There's always going to be a place that will book you, but a life after wrestling is really about enjoying finding out a lot about myself and what I am outside of this. And if there is a desire to come back, because I really feel content with what I've done. I've done a lot more than when I said earlier where I was thought I wasn't going to be shit. And, not to put myself on too high of a pedestal, because there are people who have done bigger and better, but I was in the first all-black death match and in history, and in the main event. I've been in the first couple of all-black death matches. I've been, doing shows for the LGBT community and moving that thing along. I've been traveling all over this country. I didn't do anything international because a big chunk of that was during the pandemic and just life got in the way. I've gotten to meet my heroes and have them talk to me about wrestling. That's been super cool. So I have no complaints for what I've accomplished. Could have been more, could have been less. I'm glad with what I got, and I'm ready for the next chapter.
Who are some of those heroes that you got a chance to meet that were?
I was at a show. It was super young. This is when I was wearing my shitty Rob Van Dam graffiti singlet, and Jimmy Hart stopped me when I was walking through the curtain from the match. And he said, "Kid, you sell like Dusty." Then he walked away. I was like, holy shit. I was like, what the hell? And I was like, wow, Jimmy Hart said something nice about me. I've gotten to Russell C.W. Anderson, and he's been very complimentary and very, very helpful. I just got to meet Jazz, and she's incredible. Being around Ron Simmons, being around Cassandro, building that relationship, being able to make a tournament in his name has been super awesome. Unfortunately, she passed away, but I was really trying to get in contact and meet in person Sandy Parker, who is the first queer person to ever win a world championship in wrestling history and the first Black world champion in wrestling history. Just an incredible pioneer and unfortunately, an incredibly unsung hero. And talking to her and just the limited contact that we had was really fucking awesome. Being able to thank Aja Kong to her face, her impact on me. I never saw a wrestler that I felt like, okay, I can really see myself. I've had favorite wrestlers and wrestlers I really liked, but to meet Aja Kong and be like, through a translator, when I was in high school and I saw you, I knew it was possible. Like I knew like somebody who didn't fit the norms was possible. I'm not as good as her. I can never be as good as Aja Kong. I mean, she's like so fucking goated, but that was super cool. And I've been lucky to meet a lot of people, and been able to have a nice relationship with Nick Gage, where Nick Gage stayed up at 3:00 in the morning last year, WrestleMania week, eyes glued at the monitor, watched my match and talked to me about it. He's a living legend. And he's an incredible asset to indie wrestling. And just, it's been good to create these relationships with people who I've grew up watching. We don't speak anymore, but I had a great relationship with Melina as well. And getting to pick her brain about the business is incredible. I mean, I've been able to interact with a lot of people I watched growing up, and that's super great. And there was an opportunity for me to, I'll spoil it now because it'll never happen, but there was an opportunity for me to wrestle Lita, and that would have been really, really, really cool.
Wow. Okay.
But just WWE decided that she just had to wrestle at a certain WrestleMania, so those plans blew up. But very, very close to being in a match with Lita. That would have been super cool.
I bet. Yeah. Butters?
So mine are a little bit more straightforward with some of these questions. Like, what's the worst ring name you've ever heard?
Like so many. Like people who use two first names, that drives me crazy. People who share like if someone's last name is Star with 2 R's, I think you can like figure something else out. There's a lot of people who just like have no creativity. If you're using like your born given name, I don't care. But just like the sameness, a lot of it. Trying to think of the worst ring name I think I've ever heard. There's just been so many.
How do you pick one?
I can't pick one because they're all like the concept of them are all coming together. But that's a great question. I've never been asked that. Yeah, that's a huge pet peeve of mine, are really bad wrestling names. Mine is a bad wrestling name because it's a common name. There's a porn star, a cowboy, a jazz player, all named Billy Dixon. If you look my name up and don't put wrestler, you're gonna see some shit. And a whole lot of shit. So, I mean, I'm a hypocrite, but mine was a sentimental thing. I was also like 19. I didn't do my research. Had I done my research, I would have picked a different name.
What was it? What were you going to be? Give us one.
I never got to it, but when I was really green and stupid, I thought I was going to be a king. I mean, I see myself as a king now. I mean, the king of Pittsburgh, not Envy Young. He doesn't have the fucking belt. But I was going to name myself Kevin the Great because growing up, people thought my name was Kevin more than my given name.
Oh.
And I'm lucky I did not do that because I would have been like Jimmy King from Ready to Rumble, and that would have been terrible.
Then your phrase would have been, "I will rule you," and it'd have been a whole big thing.
Just the puns and all of that. It just, terrible.
Do you have a pre-show ritual, like something that you do every single time before you go out, like for good luck, maybe, or anything like that?
Yeah, I stuff my nose with Vapor Rub. I stuff my nose with Vapor Rub. Because no matter where you wrestle, you get cotton mouth really bad. And then the only thing you can rely on is your nose. you can't lubricate your mouth besides water, but you can lubricate your nose. Now, does this mean that I may have some horrible health complication when I'm like 70? Probably. I don't give a shit. But I do that. I pray to my higher power. And I remind myself that what I do out there is for me, and everybody else comes second. My priority is myself. And yeah. And then if it's a death match, I say a very violent prayer, and then I yell at the top of my lungs, and I start punching myself in the face. I don't throw my head against walls because I'm not an idiot like Bill Goldberg, one of the worst Bills in wrestling history. My God. But no, I am myself up. If it's particularly violent, if I know that there's going to be bloodshed, I got to get myself in the zone. I got to get myself in that zone.
I thought you were putting the Vicks vapor up in your nose because most wrestling fans smell awful. So it would have just been
added benefits.
Right.
Added benefits.
Right.
Added benefits.
Just make it sure.
What's the weirdest place that you've wrestled?
Oh, hey, you might be my new favorite.
Jeez.
Weirdest place I've wrestled. A lot of weird ones. I've wrestled in a cul-de-sac for like some like community thing, and that was super weird. Because like the locker room was like someone's house, and that was weird. Because like they had like dolls and shit, and it was like hella awkward. Weirdest place I've wrestled. I wrestled in a funeral home.
Whoa, okay.
That's a new one.
That's a big definite new one. Wow.
Yeah, that's some southern shit right there for you. Any place with a big square place, they're gonna put a ring somewhere. I've wrestled at an American. Okay, this is not a weird place, but it's a funny weird story. So I was really green, and I wrestled at like an American Legion, like typical venue, right? But they wouldn't let us wrestle inside, so we had to set up a ring outside. But the only place we could put it was on a hill with an incline. So the ring was lopsided.
Oh my God.
And it was raining.
Oh,
and it was raining heavily. And I wrestled on my best friend who's passed, but we had this, and they were rocking and rolling. They didn't give a shit that it was raining, and they were so into it. But we're slipping and sliding, and we're at an angle. So he's giving me a hurricanrana, and I'm just slipping right out the ring. It was wild. And then we got paid with cups of pork.
With what?
Cups of pork.
Oh, my.
Barbecue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, in those days, that was a good night. In those early days, that was a good night. I didn't have to worry about buying food on the way home.
Wow.
Yeah, those are those super, super early days of wrestling.
Speaking of buying food on the way home, are you a Waffle House guy, or do you like Sheetz or like gas station food, or what's your preferred meal on the way home?
That's been a journey. When I was young and my digestive system was different, we would eat at real restaurants. Like we'd go to like find an Applebee's or something and do that. Maybe buy like one round of drinks, and then it translated into like some fast food place, and then now it is we got to find a Wawa. We got to find a Wawa. We got to get our stuff or Sheetz. I prefer Wawa because I find that I like a sub, like a little sub on the road, not a full one. Full one, I'm falling asleep behind the wheel. Little baby one, I'm fine. They just taste more like real food. Sometimes Sheetz doesn't taste like food on the road. Hard to explain. So now it's that. Now if it's a fun time, Waffle House, we're going to Waffle House.
I like the question. I like the question real quick. You mentioned Waffle House. What's the hash brown order?
Oh, I'm boring. This is gonna disappoint several people. Just a fried hard. I don't like a lot of shit on my hash brown.
I'm with you. Me neither.
Yeah, I just think that like I'm already abusing my colon enough by going to Waffle House. Let's not make that exponentially worse.
That's fair.
There's nothing like ripping a heater and then having eggs or biscuits and gravy in Waffle House. It's just the best feeling in the world.
I'm gonna be incapacitated for days.
Yes.
Waffle House is known for like crazy things happening. So what's like your craziest fan interaction that you've had? Like inside, like at a wrestling show, or maybe outside that like somebody like caught you off guard?
Well, in my first retirement match, a fan ran into the ring, and that was wild. a lot of online things happen that are really out of pocket. And a lot of that nowadays is a lot of more online versus like I got into wrestling where the fan interactions kind of turned to being kind of more internet based with people. Thanks, Joey Janela. I would say women will come up to me at wrestling shows and offer to procreate.
Oh,
That leads to interesting conversations.
I bet.
Trying to think of like a weird wrestling fan interaction. One wrestling fan tried to get in my car one time.
oh,
Oh my god.
And, like I was like, the show was over. Like, and when like a wrestling show like has 3 overs. It's like it's over, people go home. Then you get like fan stragglers. Then you get the last leg is the wrestler stragglers who just refuse to go the fuck home. I usually go between the two. I'm in my car. I'm like packing my stuff up, and the fan knocks on my window and goes, "Hey, can I hop in?" And I'm like, "Do I know you?" And they're like, "Yeah, but you're so awesome. You love all your fans. You're like so great." And I'm like, "Yeah, but no, you can't get in my car, and you're not going home with me. What the hell? You don't live where I live." Yeah, but yeah, a lot of stuff online. There are some things that are so gross and disgusting I will not ever share. But yeah, fan interactions are pretty cool. But for the most part, people who are fans of me in particular tend to be more sane individuals. I'll say that.
Who, in your opinion, is the funniest wrestler that you've been around?
Oh, this is good. Alley Catch is pretty fucking funny. She's really fun. She's fun to hang out with. Darius Lockhart has a really good sense of humor. You would never know it. You'd never know it. Kevin Knight has a really good sense of humor too. Sunny Kiss is really funny. She's hilarious when she's not, missing calls and ignoring me for some fucking reason. Shug D's pretty funny. Erica Lee's really fucking funny. Erica Lee's probably, I think I've laughed the most with Erica Lee on the road. Getting into shenanigans. We tend to, the road trips never go well when we're on the road together because we're like ADD rattled people who want to explore things in towns on the way to the show. So we're always late. And then we like get into shenanigans. It's pretty fun. So yeah, that'd be my group.
We invited Erica on the show, and she said she would only come on if we could review Squid Game. So she's never been on. So eventually, we're gonna get there. We're gonna have her on. We're gonna talk about Squid Game.
She's a real cinephile. She's the amount of conversation about film on the road would make anyone want to never watch a movie ever again. So good luck with that.
And my last question before we get into talking about this weekend, who is the strongest wrestler that you've worked with that like maybe didn't look it, but like had no issue picking you up or like,
That's a daunting task for some folks. Let me tell you. Evie Young is very strong, but I think everybody knows that.
He does like 1,000 push-ups before he goes out to the ring, supposedly. Yeah. So
right, at least 1,000. That's what we heard.
I've heard 1,001 in some circles. Who's really strong? People don't really pick me up. Akira, strong boy.
Okay.
Gave me probably the cleanest German me the cleanest German for somebody because I'm very top heavy. So that's on moving this around is more difficult because the weight is distributed at the top versus the bottom. If somebody's bottom heavy, they're easier to move around in a wrestling ring. But he gave me a beautiful German suplex when he was doing his Maid Care thing at Big Gay Brunch.
Okay.
Very, very strong boy and yeeted me. I would say that. I would say who else is pretty strong? Strong people. Effie's really strong. I don't think people give Effie credit for how strong he is. Effie lifted me up when we wrestled at Enjoy like it was nothing. He's a strong boy. He doesn't look as strong as he actually is too. I'd say those two, Akira and Effie, yeah, for sure.
I didn't see that coming with Akira, but wow, okay.
Yeah, well, I found some new questions. I was like, this will be the first time we asked them. I thought it'd be very interesting to hear like who's funny and that kind of stuff. So, so let's jump into this weekend. You're in a handicap match for the Enjoy title. Now, the last time we saw everything, you were supposed to get married, but you signed a contract for a match and not for a marriage. So how does that all play out? Like, you ended up on a cake.
Yep.
It was not good stuff. You have your lawyer and everything. Did he not look over? Was he just how did that just get so out of hand? I mean, I feel like
Chaos.
yeah, there was a lot of chaos. Like, I thought you were getting the belt. You were going to be the new the champion by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just now. I mean, do you blame Sonny for that? Do you blame yourself for that? Who do you blame? Ziggy for that? Like, what do you? Who do you lay the blame on that? Like, how's that all feel?
Yeah, thanks for recapping the worst day of my fucking life, pal.
See, he's not your he's not your favorite anymore, Billy. I knew it.
Yeah, he's been knocked to the bottom. He's been knocked to the bottom. Congratulations.
And I'll say this real quick, Butter. You were there. We got the explanation of why David Lawless didn't read the contract. He was in Mar-a-Lago. He just got in time for the ceremony.
He could still have looked over it. You don't know.
I will say this. Lawless, politically, we do not align. I'll leave it at that. However, he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. Busy guy.
He's a lawyer.
And I'd put it this way. Any sort of peace in the Middle East, David Lawless will have a hand in that. I'm going to just leave that there. I'm not blaming myself. That's for damn sure.
Fair.
I made the money, invested the money, flipped the money with my crypto bros. RIP Haktua, shame. And I was able to make Sunny's dreams come true. She's got incredible assets that she's named Pam and Carmen in relation to women with incredible assets that were also paid for by the loves of their lives. I mean, Jesus Christ of Wrestling kind of wasn't like, hubris. I didn't even
put that together, honestly. It was we named an episode of the show after that, and I didn't put it together. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I really, really was, I don't know if any of you gentlemen are married, but you know that it's about a union, and I've given a lot to her, and she was supposed to give me the one thing I've asked for this whole time. We haven't consummated the marriage. I've tried, but the one thing that I did want is the Enjoy Wrestling Championship, and it was in my hands. And I think Ziggy Haim is like a jealous bitch. I think she's a real cunt. And I think she's conspiring against me being great, because the only way that her household will have success in wrestling is not through her. We've seen her in the ring. We know that ain't happening from her. That's why she had to, kick rocks. So she's betting the house on big old Mike Montgomery, and he ain't doing too hot either. So, they're conspiring against true love. Like, I'm sure they probably wanted to get married and then enjoy a ring. Well, we did it first. Not really. And she changed the contracts. And Dark Sheik, don't even get me started on that. Just because Dark Sheik had a wedding that didn't go well didn't mean that she needed to take out her trauma on us. I think she really needs to look within on that one. I mean, stay on the West Coast. You guys got your own problems over there. Don't come over here ever again. We took care of that. She's gone. She's never coming back ever again.
Make some good points. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't, but I'm not at fault. I'm not at fault. I did the right thing. People think I'm a bad person. Can you tell me in this whole thing, what did I do that was so wrong? When a man loves a woman, he does what he needs to do to provide for his family. You would provide for your families. That's all I'm doing.
I mean, the only thing that I could see people saying you did wrong was maybe the suit. But I thought the entrance was beautiful.
The suit was beautiful. Come on.
I mean, some people didn't like the suit. I don't know. I liked it. I'm just saying some people didn't.
That there was a lot of discourse on the suit, and that is the problem with society today. Focusing on the wrong thing. The wedding is not about the pomp and circumstance, even though I spared no expense. I mean, and then made Enjoy pay for it all, which maybe I could have been smarter on that, because they've been conspiring against me. Not the best move. However, it's about the sacrament. See, all these little Pittsburgh bitches watching Say Yes to the Dress and all that TikTok of dream weddings. My vows came from my heart. I talked about getting up in there and being in her heart and changing her life. Let's be honest. The two men that have made Sunny Kiss relevant are Tony Khan and Billy Dixon.
Well,
I
can't argue
changed
that.
her career. Was anyone checking for her before I stepped into her life and I became her Kris Jenner and turned everything around? I don't fucking think so. So for me, that wedding was about the appreciation and acknowledgement of how deep my love went for her. And I got her the Enjoy title. I did. Every time she's been able to win it, she needed me to do it. And that's what marriage is a partnership. Why people have an issue with that? Well, that's why you're all fucking single. That's not my problem. It's not my problem. I get how it works. We have a very traditional marriage. There are gender roles. Ooh, so scary. No, that's how it works. I lead this family, and I'm going to lead this family to victory. And now people want to ruin the sacrament, so we're not married, which means I'm not legally the champion, and that's a problem. So hopefully, when we take care of the Mikey Montgomery problem once and for all, then we can get to the legalities of the matter.
So
Yeah.
if you win this Saturday, will there be another wedding in the future, or will you do it that same day? Will you get down to business right after the match and do the wedding?
I think we'll just
there?
go to the justice of the peace. I think
Yep.
we've had enough of the public being involved in our love.
You two should just elope and go to the justice of the peace, and that's the end of that. Fly to Vegas.
We'll go to Vegas. We'll have a Mexican Elvis marry us. It'll be great, and then we'll run into our friends down there, at the cat house and say hello and move on.
Sure. Makes all the sense.
Yeah,
That's everything I got. I'm really excited to see this match.
Me too.
We sponsored the match, and I'm just very.
you did. Where's
did.
where's my money?
You got to talk to Enjoy Management.
Yeah,
That's right.
They have it. They were given the money.
Okay.
Don't let them slip by you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the support of the destruction of Mikey Montgomery. I have a feeling I know who you're rooting for. We don't need to go there because this could go real south real quick.
I'm rooting for you, Billy. I'm rooting for you.
But
You lying cack of shit.
But you know what? The right person is going to win that match.
I just hope everybody has fun.
Guarantee you.
Right.
The right wrestler will win, and that person will win the match.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's my Thy Kingdom Come moment. Sonny can take the back seat now. It's about me. Daddy's in control.
I like that. Wow.
Mikey Montgomery can go back to doing whatever it is he did working at Blockbuster or something. It's time to steer the ship to the right direction and keep Enjoy going up.
I couldn't agree more, Billy. I'm on Team Billy Dixon right now.
The smart place to be.
Yeah, it feels like it. So give us your plugs before we close out for the evening for everything.
If you've endured this podcast, thank you for being a fan of mine, and supporting independent journalism. This has been an experience, neither good or bad, just an experience. Please follow me on all my socials at the Billy Dixon. If you don't know how to spell that, you got to deal with your school system, not me. And check out Enjoy Wrestling presents Hot to Go. Awful name by an awful artist. This July 5th at Mr. Smalls in Pittsburgh, we're in the main event. Shocker. Billy Dixon and Sunny Kiss defend the Enjoy title against Mike. I'm not saying his last name.
I like that, Mike. Jayhawk.
All right, follow me on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and Blue Sky at RefJayhawk, Instagram at Jayhawk1539. I'll be in the building at Enjoy watching that title match. Come join us if you're in the area. I have no booking until the 19th. I'm taking a little bit of time off. So.
Yeah, I'll be at Enjoy Saturday, and then I'm going on vacation to Dallas for a week to enjoy sitting poolside in 100-degree weather and maybe watch some wrestling while I'm down there.
All right, you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at jgold12. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to us. Our Twitter handle, IWGuide1, Blue Sky IWGuide, and patreon.com/IWGuide. Don't forget about the merch store over at brainbustertees.com. Gorilla Press Apparel, our friend Will. Listen to our podcast, friends. We are on the Main Event Wrestling Network, the Wrestling Junkies on the Mark Wrestling Podcast, and my show Tuesday nights at 10:15, the NXT Night Shift with Mr. OTM Kyle. At Odds with Wrestling, the card is going to change, the Super Fantastic Podcast, and Marks with Mikes. Check out our other friends, Time Capsule Toys, Toy Hio, Rubber City Toys, Neo Pro Wrestling, OKCR Creations, Stash Pages, and Pally's Beef Jerky by our friend Kaplan. That's all I got. Billy, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Yes, thank you so much. Life short, watch more indie wrestling.
Don't forget to review and subscribe wherever you listen to us. Find us online at Facebook and Instagram at The Indie Wrestling Guide. And on X or Twitter at IWGuide1.